Okay, let's rank some captains.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Podcast live from the Xfinity studio. We got another edition of Fun Friday podcast for you here at the DNVR Avalanche Podcast. We're doing some power rankings today. Not quite the Etsy episode everybody might be waiting for. We're getting there.
July, yeah.
We've still got a lot of off-season left to play around with. But today, we already did a show focusing on the Western teams as a whole, but I figured it might be kind of fun to go in and rank some captains for those teams. Who's most effective? Who's the coolest? Who gives off the best vibe? Whatever we're going off of here, which from what I've been told, you've got some interesting answers for some of these.
I've got some thoughts that will make people mad.
I can't wait.
This is definitely going to be a biased dunking on a bunch of teams, I think, more than anything else. So
I'm so excited.
Gonna have some fun with it.
Okay. First off, I guess a little bit of league news, I guess, before we get into the fun stuff. Darren Radish.
Yeah, that is a contract.
Holy moly. 8 by 8.5 to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. I don't think this is super surprising. We're seeing John Chayka come in and make a bunch of moves because their last GM got locked in and refused to do anything. So you kind of knew their new GM was going to come in and do stuff.
Right.
Giving an 8-year deal to a 30-year-old late blooming defenseman is a choice.
And the thing is like there's rumors around the league too that this is not the only outrageous contract coming. Have you seen the rumors about Sergei Bobrovsky?
I don't understand them. But yeah, I mean,
know what to make of it.
It's out there.
It's a strange one. So I mean, good for Toronto, I guess.
It will make them better in the immediate, right? But what happens when you get into year 3 or 4 of that contract? We've talked so much about how those late bloomers tend to have short peaks and could be a problem for them. But look, Toronto's at an inflection point where if they want to keep what's left of their core together, they need to try and go all in. So I guess this is as all in as it gets for them.
I guess if this is what this looks like, I am interested to see where this franchise turns.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of those franchises this year that I'm kind of keeping an eye on, like Buffalo. Is Buffalo going to do what they did again?
I mean, they're already making interesting moves, right? They moved on from Kesselring and they're about to sign Zach Benson. So we'll see. Obviously, Alex Tuch is the big question mark there, who's going to price himself out of most teams, it seems like. But yeah, we'll see if Buffalo can build on their momentum. Yeah.
Getting into the main topic of today's show, because I'm very excited to start diving into this, some power rankings for some captains. Yep. Figured we'd go from bottom up.
Yep.
Start at number 16.
Doing the West.
So let's start there with number 16 on these power rankings.
Yeah. Number 16 for me is the San Jose Sharks.
Ooh.
One, I think it's cowardly to play an entire season without a captain, full stop, which is what the Sharks did.
Do you know how their captains are structured? Because I was looking into this, and it's very interesting.
Their assistants, you mean?
Yeah. So
no, I don't.
Tyler
Alternates.
Toffoli.
Sorry, someone's going to be mad about that.
Co-captains.
They're assistants. Get over it.
Tyler Toffoli wears an A for the entire season.
Yeah, that's just
all
a veteran
82
guy.
games. And then they have, I believe it's Macklin Celebrini and Barclay Goodrow who wear them at home. And then Mario Ferraro and Alex Wenberg wear them on the away jerseys.
Interesting.
So it's, it really weird dynamic. I know there's some teams that have different alternates depending on home and away jerseys, but they have a set captain. So like that's moot point.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting.
There's a couple of interesting things with the Sharks. Historically, they've done very weird things with the captaincy. They stripped Joe Thornton of it to give it to Joe Pavelski. Logan Couture took it over when Pavelski left, and it's been kind of this hodgepodge of guys. But look, if your team doesn't have a captain, you're bad. That's my belief. I know there are some exceptions to the rule, like the first year with Vegas and things like that. But hold on, I got these. Excuse me. Allergic to bad captaincy, I guess. But having no captain for this San Jose Sharks team, I think, is just stupid.
My thing is like they've got the veterans to step into that leadership or captaincy role, I guess.
I don't even want that.
No, but like my whole thing is you have talent like Macklin Celebrini, like Will Smith. Are they going to Tyler Toffoli looking at him as the main captain and you want that to be your leader?
No, it's going to be their next captain is going to be Macklin Celebrini whenever they decide to do it. I don't know why they haven't done it already. And we'll get into some of these other teams where I'm like, I don't know if I see a guy that has the intangibles that really needs to be a captain for them. But San Jose very clearly has Celebrini, who has a lot of those intangibles, a lot of those things that fit a captaincy mold and is not just a really good player. And for whatever reason, they decided to wait, and that's dumb. And that's why not having a captain has them in last for me.
Fair. I just think he's young.
Yeah, I get it. But like
if you're holding off, I mean, that's a decent reason, but
he's kind of one of the next ones, right? And you look at some of the great captains ever. Crosby got it right away. Landy got it right away. McDavid got it right away. McDavid's a little bit
kind
different.
Of up there.
It's not guys who have the captaincy vibe. They have the captaincy vibe from age before 18, honestly.
Fair.
If they have it, they have it. Just give it to them.
Yeah, valid. Moving on to 15.
Yeah, things get a little bit more complicated here. No, Chicago at least had a captain for a minute of last season.
Before he was traded to the Minnesota Wild.
Before Chicago, I'm going with Vancouver.
Ooh, okay.
Who, Quinn Hughes was their captain, traded him. That's all fine. Vancouver would be significantly higher up the list had they kept Quinn Hughes. But because they got rid of Quinn Hughes and now it's a vacant position, and I genuinely don't know what they do.
Yeah.
Like, are they even, is EP40 even going to be there next year? Who are you really looking at to captain this hockey team going forward? I don't know that they have any good options, full stop.
I mean, Marco Rossi's your 1C, maybe, but
he's not Macklin Celebrini.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like I don't know. Like I'm looking up and down this list: Linus Karlsson, Brock Besser, Drew O'Connor. There's no name that stands out.
None of those guys are super like captain material to me, and
you're looking at a blue line that's spearheaded by Zeev Buium.
Yeah, definitely
Marcus Pettersson on the second pair. And I'm like, there's nothing of material to work with here.
There is, and this is not meant to be a knock on the players. I want to be clear. If EP40 stays, he's probably going to become the captain. If they have one, I don't think he's a great choice for it, but what other options do they have? This is a problem of roster building. The Vancouver Canucks front office has done a horrible job of building a cohesive hockey team. We've seen the fallout of that happen to this organization over the last couple of years with some of the trades they've had to make, with losing their captain in Quinn Hughes. They just don't have a lot of exciting things going on, period.
Yeah, I was going to say from the front office down, it's just kind of, I don't know. Dealing Quinn Hughes seemed like the final straw of like, all right, this is we're creating a new baseline,
and that's
and
fine.
We gotta build
to some extent,
it.
You're in a rebuild. You're committing to that, but you also have a revolving door for your head coach. You don't really seem to have a cohesive plan as an organization of where you're going next. I don't know. Like, I know this is supposed to be about their captain, and it's kind of turning into the Dunk on the Vancouver Canucks as a whole show. But like, those things go hand in hand.
They do.
Your captaincy, as we see in Colorado, is your connective tissue between your locker room and your head coach, and he's also involved with your GM. All of those conversations come through leadership as a whole, and all of those pieces, from your alternates to your captain to your coach to your GM, need to be connected together. And there's clearly just none of that in Vancouver without Quinn Hughes. And frankly, Quinn Hughes was clearly unhappy there for a while now.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. Some of that a culture problem probably. There are a lot of issues there. And the captaincy issue is kind of just the poster child of that, I think, for Vancouver.
This is fair. I mean, it also kind of ties into, I think there's a lot of factors revolving around why Quinn left.
Sure.
I think some of that has to do with, not being close to family, maybe wanting to get an opportunity to play with his brothers, depending on what happens this offseason.
Yeah, would not be surprised if that's how it plays out.
Really would not, but that's how the dice roll. We are going to move through our rankings, but want to hit our first ad break at the show. So let's go shout out some sponsors and get back to the chaos.
When the weather warms up in Colorado, nothing hits quite like an ice-cold Surfside. When the days get longer, the mountains call. It's all about early hikes, weekend rounds of golf, and evenings that stretch a little bit later, maybe watching some soccer too. From trailheads to tee boxes to backyard hangs, Surfside goes wherever the season takes you. And whether you're catching a game or if you're at home enjoying the off-season, whatever it might be, Surfside is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Made with real vodka, Surfside is only 100 calories and 0 bubbles. That's right, and no carbonation, just a smooth, easy sip that's crisp and refreshing every single time. Crafted with premium vodka and real ingredients, Surfside has quickly become one of the fastest growing spirit brands in the country, earning major awards including the 2025 Spirit Brand of the Year. So whether you're hiking, golfing, or just soaking up the Colorado sunshine, enjoy it with a Surfside. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. It's sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you, including the DNVR bar where you can come hang. Of course, must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly. And once you've taken care of enjoying life with a Surfside, also make sure you're taking care of your home with Red Hawk Roofing. Denver's best roofers are on DNVR's team. Go with the pros at Red Hawk Roofing and get your roof checked once a year. It's preventative medicine for the home you pour your life into. Make sure you're covered with it. There's no project too small for Red Hawk. They do whatever you need when it comes to your roof, from minor repairs to full roof replacement on your home or your business. Either way, long-lasting relationships matter with their customers. They always keep things up to date. They have decades of experience. They use the best materials. They have quick response times. Most importantly, though, they give you a free, no-obligation roof and property inspection with free in-depth photo reports for all inspections, so you can just get it checked out for free. You can't always see how bad the damage is to your roof from the ground. Supporting your local teams means also supporting your local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you are looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com, or you can call 720-771-8921 and tell them DNVR sent you.
And we are back here at the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, resuming with our power rankings, coming in at 14.
Yeah, I'm going with St. Louis here.
Okay.
There's a handful more of teams that technically have a vacant captaincy right now. St. Louis trades their captain away and Braden Shen at the deadline, roughly. And they, again, maybe more of an organizational thing where St. Louis just feels stuck. This is the last year of Binnington, and, maybe they can hit the reset button or whatever you want to do after that. I'm assuming they're going to give the captaincy to Robert Thomas, but I don't actually know for sure that that's what they're going to do.
That seems like the obvious choice.
Yeah. But, 6 months ago, there was a question of, are they even going to keep Robert Thomas? So if you feel like they might be a little bit stuck there, I don't know that I have a ton to say about St. Louis. They're just kind of a boring, bad at captaincy team. Obviously, I'm not in these locker rooms. There could be plenty of things that I just don't know. But from the outside looking in, it doesn't feel like they have a great, I'm the leader type of guy on that hockey team. And when you don't have that guy, it kind of just falls to your best player by default, which is why I'm assuming Robert Thomas will end up getting it.
I mean, that's got to be the obvious choice here, because what are your other options? Dylan Holloway, Jimmy Snuggerud. You really don't have anyone taking defense by the reins and screaming leadership to you. So that seems like the obvious choice, unless they decide to go out and get a veteran leader in free agency. And I don't know if it's
really hard. I mean, if you're fully committing to the rebuild, sure.
Yeah.
You can do what Chicago did with Nick Foligno, who we'll talk about in a minute here. But if you are actually trying to win hockey games, it's really hard to bring in a guy and be like, he's the captain now, taking over this locker room.
Yeah.
Really, not that Braden Shen was a bad captain or anything like that, but you kind of started having problems in St. Louis with this captaincy stuff when they moved on from Alex Pietrangelo, which is years ago now, but like he was kind of the guy to do that for them. And then they said, we're done.
Yeah.
So
fair, valid. I kind of off topic here, just to, I guess, for the St. Louis Blues. You see them holding on to Jordan Binnington? Or for how much longer, I guess?
Not if someone wants him enough.
Do you think the Edmonton Oilers go for that?
I don't know how they could make it work, but now that they've already got Jari on the books, unless they like get rid of Jari too somehow. But the Blues are just kind of nowhere right now, and Binnington isn't helping them be competitive or helping them move into a younger future. So if they can move him for something of value, I think they will try to do so.
Yeah.
But allegedly they tried to do so last trade deadline and they couldn't make anything work. So I don't know that that's the easiest move for them to do anything with.
The only reason I ask is somebody in chat brought up the funny move of giving Binnington the C. And part of me, just for like all of the hate that Binnington gets around the league, I'm like, ha, 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 ha. But also...
Yeah. I mean, you can technically give your goalie the captaincy. You just have to designate that your alternates are the only ones allowed to talk to the refs on the ice. So it kind of defeats the purpose. But from a leadership standpoint, you could give it to Binnington. But why on earth you would want Binnington to be the leader of your team is beyond me. So don't do that. It would be my suggestion.
For what it's worth, I would need to do more research on this, but quick Google search. The last goaltender who was a captain was Bill Durnan in 48. For the Montreal Canadiens.
No chance. Luongo was a captain in Vancouver. Yeah.
Like with the C?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He had the C on his mask. It was very funny.
Oh, interesting.
And that he's the reason why they changed the rules, is because he was their captain and he would have to skate out from the crease to go talk to the ref as the captain all the time. And the league was like, this takes way too long. We're not going to let you do this anymore.
Love this. Okay. Fair. Oh, okay. Yeah. Of course, it's giving me articles from 2008, so that makes sense. 13 on the power rankings list.
Yeah, I could go a couple of different ways with this one, but I'm going to go LA next.
Okay.
3 months ago, they're probably in the top 5 with Anze Kopitar as a captain, who's an all-time guy, multiple cup winner, like amazing, but he's retired now. And they have a vacancy, and their only real captaincy option is Drew Doughty, which, and there's no one really long-term. Like, even if they give it to Drew Doughty, that's a transitional captain of he's just going to be here like an Adam Foote or a Milan Hajduk was at the end of that era for the Colorado Avalanche. But there's no one on the list of who's next. Like, Byfield isn't really that guy. You have a number of other guys on your team that it feels like are not necessarily leadership types, maybe closer to mercenaries that you've went out and acquired. And I don't know that I believe in any of them being LA's next real captain. I don't know where they really go after Doughty. And on a personal level, I would not want Doughty to be my captain.
That's fair. Yeah, LA's in this weird spot of like Kopitar was just there for so long.
Yep.
And it's that, supplemental, okay, where to next kind of thing. And there just seems, you already found, like they just replaced their head coach. There just seems to be some sort of lack of direction with exactly where they're headed.
Yeah.
And that applies to more than just the captaincy. I think, like, as an organization, it's just very strange positioning for exactly what the plan is for the LA Kings.
Yeah.
And it's a trickle down, and that affects the captaincy, I think, and just looking at how the roster is structured so far.
It's hard to be a team like LA because you have been a perennial first round exit, which is like good, but You don't really do anything with this era after your cup wins in the early 2010s. And you're now essentially staring down the barrel of a rebuild. Obviously with Kopitar retiring, but Doughty's not getting any younger.
Nope.
The guys that you wanted to be your superstars of the next generation are not great. Like Byfield is a very good NHLer, but he's not the superstar you needed him to be. Kempy's really good. Maybe he's the next captain after Doughty, I guess. That's
Kempy could be good.
Probably the guy. But I just don't see how that organization is positioned to have a meaningful next couple of years. Yeah. And an organization, the way they play, they would need a Vezina season from Darcy Kemper or something or Anton Forsberg, whoever they're starting at any given moment.
Fair.
That's the type of thing they would need to really turn it around. I don't love it. I don't love where LA's at with their captaincy or as an organization. So
moving on so we can get away from that conversation. 13.
Yeah, the last...
Or 12. Sorry.
The last officially vacant one in the West is the Chicago Blackhawks. I have them at the top of this because it's clearly just going to be Connor Bedard when they decide to announce that it's Connor Bedard.
Yes.
So it's kind of fake vacant. And they actually had a captain last year, Nick Foligno. They're trying to do captaincy stuff, all of that. And Foligno was a good transitional captain for them as they try to take this next step into a new era. The problem is they aren't taking that step as quickly as they would like. And, a lot of people said, hey, last year is kind of Connor Bedard's breakout year, is finally starting to figure things out as an elite level player in the NHL. Still got wholly outplayed by Macklin Celebrini by my stretch. And Chicago has not done a good job of building the supporting cast that Connor Bedard needs. You look at some of these captains that I've talked about that are thrust into that role at a relatively young age. They have a lot of quality guys around them, or at least, if not quality guys, veteran guys that understand the league and can help in that alternate role of shouldering a little bit of the weight of what to do and how to act and how to be an NHLer every single day beyond just being a leader on the team. I just don't Foligno was that guy, and that's why they gave him the captain, and then they moved him out. And is Chicago's future really just Connor Bedard has to be the best captain in the league or we're bad? And I know they have a bunch of young talent that's exciting and stuff, but is Connor Bedard the guy to captain those guys into their roles and really get Chicago up and running to make the playoffs and take those future steps? And I think you could argue to some extent the answer is yes, but I also don't love the supporting cast of guys that are there to help him. Andrei Burakovsky was not the leader type.
Nope.
He's a good hockey player. Yeah. He does a lot of good stuff, but he was not a guy that's going to really coach up the youngins on how to be.
I think for me, I just run into the same issue as we ran into with San Jose, where Celebrini's obviously the answer there eventually.
Yeah.
Bedard is obviously the answer there for Chicago. He's just young. And yes, there have been young captains in the NHL. I'm not dogging on some of the guys who have really grown into that role when handed it, but it just... I think there's still some growing into his skates to be done for a guy like Connor Bedard, not just on the skill on the ice, but in that leadership role as well. It's an organization that's really banking on this being their guy.
Has to be.
Yeah. So of course it's the obvious answer. I just, again, I worry about that youth. I worry about some of the, let him grow into his career before thrusting yet another responsibility on him.
I worry about this role as a whole. We see so many young kids get the captaincy role, not because they're necessarily built to be a captain, but because they're the best player on their team.
They're franchise players. Right. That's why you're drafted.
And so you just have no choice whether they're a good leader or not. And I think this is thankfully not a problem for the Avs. Everyone knew Gabe Landeskog was captain material in his draft interviews. Like everybody knew.
Yes.
You've also seen other great young captains. Sidney Crosby had a lot of that in him. Like I said earlier, I believe Macklin Celebrini has a lot of that in him. I'm not sure that Connor Bedard has that in him as much. I think this is maybe more of a Alex Ovechkin type captaincy situation. To a lesser extent, people are going to get mad at me for this, but a Connor McDavid type captain situation, who I think McDavid has grown into that role pretty well.
That's what you're hoping happens with Connor Bedard.
But I don't know that he has those intangibles in the bag already.
That's where my, generally you put it well. You can see a lot of those qualities come out in younger players.
Yep.
Connor Bedard just doesn't have that it for me. And yes, again, he's 20 years old, so there's opportunities for him to grow into that. And if he's 5 years down the line, he's showing to be one of the best captains in the NHL, which I still don't see happening. But if it does, I'll gladly eat my words.
And a tough spot for a kid to be like, oh, yeah, you have to come in and be the captain of the organization who had Jonathan Taves as their captain who won 3 championships here, by the way. And we're going to retire his number in a couple of months. Like, good luck, kid.
Damn, a lot of pressure. That's rough. We do have 11 more captains to rank here, but want to get into our second ad break of the show, shout out some more sponsors, and get back into it.
This is not the Xfinity studio, but we are still brought to you by Xfinity, and our live is on Xfinity right now. So go get the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together and finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense, and it lets you stream the game even when the whole family is online. All of your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part: no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable and stay put. Of course, select plans only and restrictions do apply, but you can lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. You can learn more at Xfinity.com today. Again, go get that 5-year price. Internet has never been more important than it is today. Xfinity, imagine that. And once you've got your Wi-Fi locked in, kick back, relax, and enjoy some Don Julio 1942. When the biggest sporting event in the world comes to our backyard, toast with the iconic celebration of Don Julio 1942 during the soccer. Go get with it. I know for our watch-alongs, we do some Don Julio at 1942 on the clock for the USA games. So jump in with it. It's the original, the icon of celebrations. Of course, you got the bottle with all of these things on it, including 3 different options. We mentioned the original, the trophy for legends on and off the field, and the mini for small but iconic moments. From stadiums to street parties, this release is close at the heart of culture where football, fashion, and flavor collide. It's made for those who move the moment forward, turning every celebration into a legacy. Like I mentioned, we do watch-alongs here at the DNVR bar. One coming up today at 1 p.m. that we'll be joining after our show. And then there's one on June 25th versus Turkey. You can go to thednvr.com/events to RSVP for free. Whether you're at your favorite spot or stocking up for home, make Don Julio 1942 your drink of choice.
And we are back here at the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, moving right along to our first official captaincy spot. 11th.
Sort of. There are 2 captains that are pending free agents that aren't technically signed yet, so we'll see what happens. Number 11, I'm going Dallas and Jamie Benn.
Ooh.
And fully admitting there's some bias here. I think
this is an Avalanche show. We're allowed to be.
If this was a neutral podcast, Jamie Benn would probably be higher on the list than this. But
fight us, please.
1, he's a pending free agent. 2, he never won a championship. 3, he hasn't really been good for 4 of the last 5 years. So unlike someone like a Kopitar, who right up until this final season aged pretty gracefully, Jamie Benn has been mediocre at best. And as he's aged, also leaned into a lot of the goonery, tomfoolery, dumbness that everybody hates.
Yeah.
So just easily unlikable. Just an unlikable guy.
Agreed.
As a captain.
Yeah, he's one of those ones, and I realize there's a lot of arguments to be had for this with a lot of captains in the league, but your captain's supposed to be the guy standing up for other players if they go down, if they're getting pushed around a little bit. Jamie Benn does a lot of the pushing around. He does a lot of that tomfoolery, the things that maybe aren't the cleanest things on the books.
Yep.
And not to say that, you know, Gabe Landeskog, who's obviously going to be higher on this list, is perfect. No captain is. But I think there's a lot that Jamie Benn's been a part of in the last couple of years, especially, that I've been like, okay. Championship is a good point.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
When you're comparing like Jamie Benn to Gabe Landeskog, because Gabe Landeskog is absolutely a captain that has walked the line and crossed the line before in the league. But when you look at how they react to those situations, a couple of years ago, Gabe Landeskog, I think it was Matt Tkachuk, he cross-checked in the head and got a game or two suspension for. Afterward, he was like, yeah, I didn't mean to do it, but I did it. Like, my bad. And then in the playoffs a couple of years ago, Jamie Benn fell over and cross-checked a guy in the back, ended up getting suspended a game for it, I believe. And instead of being like, yeah, I did it, he was like, I just fell over. A total accident. I didn't do it on purpose. And the entire league is looking at him like, really, dude?
Come on.
Really? We're going to do this? You're a captain, man. You gotta know when to own up to it sometimes.
Yeah, it comes down to those leadership qualities that we were preaching about for some of these young guys, and some of these older guys might have a little bit of a learning curve here as well. So, yeah, that's, I don't know.
Good take in the chat saying maybe Dallas should be 16th because no captain is better than Jamie Benn. I couldn't be that biased. About it. And the other thing is, although this is true of some of the other teams that I have below them, they do have a good pipeline of who their next captain is going to be. Very possibly Miro Heiskanen if they keep Jason Robertson, which I think they will. He's a candidate to be the captain as well. They've got good options there. The future of their captaincy is guys I actually don't hate as a captain. Yeah. So
lots of potential here. Moving on to number 10.
Yeah, number 10 is the other technically unsigned captain. And this one actually, like, over the last 24 hours, it sounds like Radko Gudas might want to test the market. So Anaheim might be without a captain in 10 days. We'll see how that goes exactly. But I put Gudas in here because he, again, situation matters. He's very much a transitional captain for the Anaheim Ducks, of like taking them from one era to the next as they step into this Leo Carlsson and crew era. Yeah, they have some middling guys like Troy Terry and stuff that are kind of in between age and stuff. Mason McTavish is in there too, although I'm not sure what they're doing with him exactly. But Gudas is just your typical veteran guy who comes in, and all those things I said Chicago lacks is what Radko Gudas has. He can teach the young kids how to be an NHLer. He has that perspective. He has the experience. He can help them in that way, and he did help them in that way. Now, he might not stay, like I mentioned, but there are just those veteran types, and maybe I'm biased because every time I see an Adam Foote type, I'm like, yeah, he's that type of guy.
Yeah,
he can do that type of thing. But yeah, a fair point. Like, Gudas definitely a guy who crosses the line sometimes too. I don't really think the Matthews hit was intentional, but Gudas puts himself in that situations pretty regularly because he's a heavy physical guy, and stuff like that happens. But also a guy that I think has respect around the league. So yeah, that's why I put him above the Vacants and above Jamie Benn.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where if Gudas goes and tests the market, there's really not a good option, or at least not clear.
Yeah, you don't want to jump the gun. Like, I think it's probably Leo Carlsson's eventually. I really like the intangibles of someone like a Mason McTavish, but they just don't seem to know what to do with him in Anaheim, so it's a little bit weird.
I mean, he's the guy who's signed for the longest on the forward side, Jackson Lacombe on defense. But it again comes down to that. Do you see a lot of those leadership qualities to lead such a young team? Like, it would be different if you've got like something that's a little more well-rounded. And like you have that veteran presence where if, captain's busy with other things, like you have multiple guys to lean back on while he grows into that position. This just doesn't seem like a situation where Anaheim can capitalize on that right now.
And it's funny because the other veteran transitional type of captain that they could have gone with was Jacob Trouba, who's also a pending free agent. Yes. So it's like an awkward spot a little bit.
Again, you're also looking at that towing the line of what kind of leader is he really? Because Jacob Trouba's been caught in some hot water in his career too. So
the whole New York situation was interesting.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Certainly. Moving on, lucky number 9.
Number 9, actual captains who are signed. I'm putting Winnipeg here with Adam Lowry. Not that I think Adam Lowry has a good amount of intangibles and is a good guy, but for a team where Winnipeg is at, who's trying to be competitive, or at least if they decide not to blow it up this season, was trying to be competitive and compete for Stanley Cups, you're giving your captaincy to a guy who's essentially a third liner. I know he plays up in their top 6 sometimes because they just get injured and don't have guys. But also, it's Winnipeg. So they just kind of are like, you are a guy who will stay here, have our captaincy, please. Like, they don't have a lot of choice in the guys they give their captaincy to if they want a long-term captain.
Yeah, it again, one of those things where you have, I guess, a couple options for captaincy, but does anyone really stand out as like the clear cut, oh yeah, you kind of thing? Like, I don't. Winnipeg's in one of those weird spots too, of like what exactly is there to lead around at this point too? Because you're kind of getting worse everywhere. Connor Hellebuck potentially seeking elsewhere, and there's just a lot of moving parts where I'm like, nothing really stands out to me about Adam Lowry. Is like, yeah, you.
It is a little bit, and it's always hard to have the conversation about like stripping a captaincy. Mm-hmm. A lot of teams have done it, and it has not worked out very well. Looking at you, San Jose. But in hindsight, they probably should have given it to Josh Morrissey.
Fair.
A guy who has really become an elite defender for them and loves the city, has like restaurants in the city, is really part of the community on that side of the captaincy factor. Yep. I think it would have made more sense to be Morrissey for them.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, they have so many guys that are signed for long-term deals too that I'm like, stuck. I mean, Adam Lowry's one of them.
It is.
To be fair, but you've got 29-year-old Kyle Connor. Geez,
yeah, not a captaincy guy though.
Mark Scheifele at 33.
Yeah, could have been Scheifele for sure.
Gabriel Velarde at 26, and then Neil Pionk at 30.
Yeah,
so.
Pionk was part of that weird trade with Trouba.
Yeah. I don't know. Nothing super standout.
They just kind of are who they are. It is what it is. I think similar to the situation in Utah, which is where I'm going next, with Clayton Keller as their captain. Keller's a really good hockey player. Like, don't get me wrong. The on-ice play is very good, but it's not like superstar level. And his captaincy just kind of exists. Yeah. I don't think he really stands out as a captain, not good nor bad.
Yep.
But again, similar to what I talked about with Winnipeg, if they just had to give it to a guy who stays here. The Keller situation is complicated because of the Arizona to Utah move a little bit, but Keller was the guy who has stuck with the franchise, right? He's been their guy in the organization for a very long time, and these are kind of how you come to default captains. It is, well, he's our guy, so we're going to go with him.
Right. Keller's kind of one of those ones, too, where, like, he's still kind of melting into his career a little bit and finding his stride. And he's a great player.
Yep.
Great player who I think has some leadership qualities. Probably one of the more obvious ones as far as, guys who are kind of defining themselves or like getting to the end point of defining themselves as players. And I think finding somebody in that role is important for a team like Utah who are still trying to find their identities themselves.
Yeah, these types of guys are local legends, right? Like, kind of not really for Utah. Again, it's weird, but if the team was still in Arizona, like Clayton Keller would be an all-time Coyote type. The way that Milan Hajduk was a captain for a little while for the Avs, that type of thing.
Yep.
But is he really doing anything special as a captain for that team? I don't think so.
Fair. Number 7.
Yeah. I went with Jordan Eberle here, and I think you could probably make a case for Eberle to be behind Keller and Lowry, but I just really like Jordan Eberle, so this is my own personal bias.
I'll let it slide this time. I was looking at this list, and I'm like, I'm really surprised Seattle's not lower. But
yeah, the thing is, I don't think Seattle's problems are Jordan Eberle. I think Seattle's problems are Seattle's problems.
That's valid. That is really valid. Okay. Fair.
An interesting point here. I'm sidetracking us a little bit, but the juice in the chat saying you don't want Scheifele as he is one of the biggest whiners in the league. Refs don't want anything to do with that bozo. I kind of think the opposite. You've seen a lot of success from head coaches like John Cooper, like Pete DeBoer being heavy whiners in this league. Sidney Crosby gets tons of success as a whining head coach, captain, not head coach. Some whininess can help. Like, sometimes the refs listen when you whine a little bit more as a captain. If you're not wearing a letter and you're whining, they don't care about you. Yeah. They're going to ignore you. But when you're the captain and they take those whines a little bit more seriously.
What was it back? This was I think like 2 or 3 years ago, they talked about the Brad Marchand effect. In some sense too, of like any time he talked to coaches. And I think the same thing happened with Ben too. And the whole head coaches whining type thing, because DeBoer would talk to coaches too, and it's like, all right, well, here's your calls. You go do what you need to do, and there's that trickle down for sure. Yeah,
but the thing with Eberle, and Seattle's bad, and I can't really help with that. But for Eberle as a person, he kind of revived his career in Seattle. At the end of his time in New York, he was injured a lot. He was not scoring a ton. He hadn't had a 20-goal season in 5 years, and he comes to Seattle and has 2 back-to-back. Then this last season, he has a 26-goal season, 55-point season. Becoming a leader has kind of revitalized him in a way that we don't necessarily see for a lot of guys. And it was fun to watch. On a team that is unbelievably horrible to watch, Jordan Eberle was fun to watch. So
that's fair. I'll give that to you. We got 6 more to get through here, but we do have one last ad break here to get to. So let's go get through with this and then speed run the rest of our choices.
If you're celebrating a win or maybe eating your feelings, head over to STK Steakhouse after the game. Whatever that game might be, they have $3, $6, and $9 happy hour levels, Sunday through Thursday, 2:30 to 6:30, and 9 p.m. to close, and then Friday and Saturday, 2:30 to 5:30. They're open late after game day, so you can go get that meal. They've got steak night, which is a 3-course meal plus a glass of wine for just $69 per person. Their seasonal menus have rotating items, so there's always something new to try. They're open on holidays, too, so even if you're on the 4th of July and everywhere else is closed, you can go get yourself an STK Steakhouse steak. It's dinner with a vibe. They have a DJ every single night, so you can bring the party to Denver and get your meal. They have private dining spaces for corporate events and social situations too, so you can reserve one of those if you have a big party coming their way. Whatever it is, make a reservation or learn more at stksteakhouse.com today and go get yourself one of those delicious steaks. Once you've got your STK Steakhouse steak, you also got to be making sure you have emergencies planned. Look, it's going to be real dry in Denver this summer. There's going to be some fires. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but if it does, New Built Restoration and Construction will have your back. They're licensed general contractors who can help with any project, big or small, and they're available 24/7 and truly care about being there for their customers. Over 600 reviews prove that to be true, and maybe more importantly, they'll work with your insurance to make a stressful situation as streamlined and easy as possible for you. They offer a number of different services, including fire damage, water damage, mold removal, repair services, services, and they even work on commercial projects. So get with them today. They're true DNVR fans, and we're excited to support their business the way they support us. When that home emergency hits, New Built Restoration and Construction will be there. You can visit them at newbuilt.com. That's NUBILT.com, or call 720-902-7472. And when you tell them the DNVR sent you, you can get $1,000 off your next remodeling project.
And we're back for the final segment here at the DNVR Avalanche Podcast. Moving right on into number 6.
Yeah, number 6, I have Jared Spurgeon with Minnesota. Very weird history with Minnesota's captaincy. Spurgeon is their second captain ever. Really hard to replace Mikko Koivu for them. They technically had a season where 5 different guys wore the captaincy.
That just seems so ineffective to me.
Maybe even worse than their 5 years of not having a captain at all is having 5 different guys be the captain in one season. It's
ridiculous.
Yeah. Some weird stuff there. Spurgeon, unfortunately, is coming to the end of his career and is not the player that he used to be as an underrated elite defensive defenseman in the league, but was a good captain for Minnesota through a tough era for them. They kind of had their hands tied behind their back with the buyouts of Suter and Parise, and they still were a team that were always a tough out, always a tough team to beat, regularly made the first or second round of the playoffs. I think Spurgeon as a captain did what he could with what he had. And you know, a well-respected veteran. I don't think he's super special as a captain or anything like that, but just a good guy.
Valid. Moving on into number 5.
Yeah, it starts to get a little bit harder with the remaining guys because the remaining guys are all guys I like. Oh, that's not true. I actually totally forgot about Calgary and Mikael Backlund. Yeah, he should probably be below Spurgeon and Eberle for sure. I know it's hard to think about this right now because Calgary is where they are at. But when Backlund became the captain, they were still hopeful of being a good hockey team and was another good veteran guy that at the time was still a good hockey player, at the time had pieces to work with. And now obviously the Tkachuk trade and everything that played out with Huberdeau has gone absolutely disastrously for Calgary. And none of the pieces got put together the way they needed to. But Backlund is another one of those guys that you look at and you say, hey, look, he ended up in Calgary and he stayed in Calgary. He's an all-time, is he good enough to go up to the rafters? Probably not, but he's a guy that everyone's going to remember as the career Calgary Flame, the all-time Calgary Flame guy that he's not as good as Milan Hajduk, but Hajduk is like the guy that was an Av for his entire career. Right. So you view some of those guys, and I think you have to give a lot of respect to guys that stay with their organizations through thick and thin and do their best. And most of that time, not as a captain, of course, but it was his turn. He's a good guy. I think he fits that mold better than like a Clayton Keller does, which is why I said put him ahead of him, even if Calgary sucks.
That was going to be my point is like, at least he's a long tenured guy. Like that. Yeah. That's something you can rely on. Couldn't have said that better myself. Number 4.
Yeah, I think the actual highly respected captains of the West are these 4.
I have some thoughts here.
I'm sure you do. You're going to have to wait till at least number 3 for that, though, because number 4 for me is Roman Josi.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Yeah. The Predators have been an organization of ups and downs. Roman Josi has seen all sides of it, the good, the bad, the ugly of that Predators organization, and has been arguably their best player across the course of his career, maybe even not arguably.
I think even given some of the issues he's gone through in the last couple seasons too, like he's the kind of player that the guys on that team respect.
Yep. One of the longest tenured captains on this list, obviously not to like crazy Gabe Landeskog, Connor McDavid levels. I guess actually almost as long as McDavid, nowhere near as long as Landeskog. But a guy who's been there, been through it, been an all-star, been one of the best players in the league at times in his career, and is just a standout guy in the NHL for another dude who's been with his team for the entirety of his career. but has a lot more of those intangible captains type stuff that you see him not just working in the community, but with a team that when they suck, he says, hey, we suck. When they're good, he doesn't take any credit. He's always helping out the other guys on the decor or whatever it might be. Maybe one of the least frustrating guys. When I see other good players be captains for other teams, I'm mad that they're not an Av. It would feel wrong for Roman Josi to not be a Pred.
Yeah, that's valid. Just like one of those long tenured guys that just kind of makes sense for the captaincy. We've talked so many times about different guys on here who maybe don't make sense, or it's like okay, you're a decent player, you've got some leadership qualities, like we can step you in there. Roman Josi seems like a clear-cut answer. He's one of the first ones on this list where I'm like, no, that makes complete sense.
Yep.
Number 3.
All right, let's make everybody mad. Yep.
All right.
Connor McDavid at 3. The only reason he's at 3, and to be honest, he might be at 1 had he beat the Florida Panthers in Game 7. There are 2 NHL captains in the West that have won a Stanley Cup as a captain, and Connor McDavid is not one of them.
That's a fair critique. I'll give into that. No, that's fine. Connor McDavid's also just one of those ones where he has a lot of talent. He has a lot of skill. He has the gravitas, I guess, that you look for as far as a talented hockey player and a captain. I also, I don't know. I guess I've seen some videos or heard some things where I'm like, there are definitely better leaders, I think, in the league.
Yeah. Again, I said it earlier. I think he's grown into that leadership role a lot.
Absolutely.
But the early years, I don't think he really fit the mold. He just got the captaincy foisted upon him because he was Connor McDavid.
Yeah. I mean, again, very similar Connor Bedard situation.
And now we're 2 years away from him playing for another team. So
I can't wait. Number 2, and this is the one I had thoughts about, I believe.
Yeah, it's Mark Stone at number 2. You don't have to like it.
He has won a cup.
He's a really good hockey player. He won a cup. Yes, they do the nonsense loophole LTIR, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
He's willing to do that stuff to win. He's willing to lay it all out on the line. And I think he embodies Vegas really, really well as a captain. As much as that may be disliked around the league, he understands how his team operates. He plays in a way that makes them successful, and he has that cutthroat willingness to do whatever it takes.
Maybe I'm just bitter.
Understandable.
That's kind of where that comes from, is like I see a lot of that work around. And while there is a sense of like, all right, this is what my team needs from me, this is what I'm going to lean into. I look at this as the league literally made a rule because of you.
How much of that is because of him and how much of that is because of the team? And number 2,
it's fair.
The reality is that's a gray area.
It is.
Yes, you can knock him a little bit for sitting out. You also have to give him credit for playing through it. Those are not completely made up injuries.
No,
right?
Valid.
Like, he's also a really tough guy. If we're about to give Gabe Landeskog credit for coming back from 3 years off, you have to give Stone a little bit of credit for battling through his injuries too.
That's fair. That's valid. I'll give that to you. And then number 1, who's surprised?
It's the Xfinity X Factor.
Yeah.
Xfinity, imagine that. It's Gabe Landeskog as number 1. Is there some bias here? Probably. But I think anyone that watches the Colorado Avalanche, I mean, how many times last year did we talk about not only is Gabe Landeskog the captain, but he's the emotional center of the Colorado Avalanche. He keeps the team in line. He keeps the team balanced. He knows when to have fun. He knows when to get serious. He has won a championship as a captain. He is an absolute monster for coming back from those 3 years that I just talked about. There are not a lot of guys that can do that at all, let alone getting a surgery no hockey player has ever successfully come back from before. Just built different in a way that I think there are other captains that have similar vibe. Sasha Barkov. I think he won back-to-back chips. I think he has that very steady presence, very calm guy that kind of regulates the emotions of Florida in a similar way to Landeskog. And now he's on his comeback trail from his own knee injury.
Yep.
But I don't think there are a lot of other guys in the league that really have the pulse of their team the way that Gabe Landeskog does.
It's something you mentioned a little earlier, too, in saying not many players from an early on point can convey and show off as many leadership qualities as Gabe Landeskog did early in his career. And I think it's very telling of what he's been able to do and where he is still currently at. Not only is he displaying a lot of those leadership qualities, but he's everything you want to see in a player. And I think having, even if you don't have the leadership qualities, being somebody that another player can look up to is incredible. Look at the journey that he went on to come back from his knee injury, the kind of perseverance that you have to stick to, and the patience that you have to have is huge in that. We see it all the time with Nathan MacKinnon. And of course, Nathan MacKinnon's gone through his own journey to, improve himself as an assistant captain. He's a lot of the emotional level in that room, and a lot of players feed off of that. Gabe Landeskog is the guy to reel that in. He's the guy to I hate calling it a babysitter position, but you look at what he does for Nathan MacKinnon. They level each other out. Sometimes you need a little bit more of that emotional push from Gabe Landeskog, and he can feed into that too. And I think there's not just being a captain who can be a leader in the room, but who can be a team guy.
Yeah. Extremely important to the Avalanche. When you look at Gabe Landeskog's last 2 full seasons were a Stanley Cup win and a conference finals appearance. I don't think that's coincidence.
This is fair.
I think there's something to that, and this season being the Avs winning a President's Trophy. The
message is there.
As much as I hate the Marc Messier Leadership Award, I think there's a reason Gabe Landeskog won it. I would not have given him a Hart Trophy vote, but I understand where it came from. I get the idea.
Yeah. There's a lot of understanding behind that. He's the point of that being is he's a crucial part to this team.
Yeah.
This team, the record doesn't lie. Look at how much they struggled with him out of the lineup. And things kind of fell apart for their season a little bit when he went down injured in Florida. In a way.
I think it's more complicated than people like to make it out, but sure. They were barely 500 without Landy. Sure.
So I think there's something to be said there. Looking at this list as we start to wind things down here, that was the Xfinity X Factor. Imagine that. Is there anything here that you would change or that you see as
I'm
maybe
pretty
a little too impulsive?
Okay with the list as a whole. Again, I think if we weren't an Avs pod, Jamie Benn would be significantly higher. And the second the San Jose Sharks named Macklin Celebrini captain, that would shoot up my list too.
Oh gosh, the glazing of Macklin Celebrini. That's going to do it for our power rankings. Just another shout out, just because we are DNVR podcast. We've got some soccer action coming on around here. We're getting ready to go hop over to a watch party for the USA versus Australia match. So if you guys are looking to get into some fun, be sure to come join us over there. Anything else to add for this edition of Fun Friday?
I think we're good. Landy's the man. I understand there's some Avalanche bias in our show and all of that. And maybe there are guys that would not rank Landeskog as number one because of play on the ice or other things. But I would be very confident in saying the vast majority of people around the league, who cares? We're bloggers. Nobody cares what we have to say. Actual GMs around the league and players around the league, pretty much everybody would have Landy as their top 5 captaincy guy. Yeah. He's for real.
It's a no-brainer there. That is going to do it for today's episode. And this week, as we wrap up another week of the off season, we're slowly trudging our way back to hockey, guys. Until next week on Tuesday, I believe. We are taking Monday off because we've got a bunch of draft content for you guys on Friday and Saturday. This has been the DNVR Avalanche Podcast. We will see you next week.
We all silly like the mayor.